Why don't you think airplanes spin their wheels before landing? You see, that big white smoke really does exist. But what's strange is that you might think landing is when the tires wear out the most, given all that smoke. However, according to Goodyear Tire Company, it's quite the opposite. In fact, the most tire wear happens before takeoff. This is important because a traditional Boeing 737 can carry over 20 tons of fuel when fully loaded. But in the air, the Boeing 737 only weighs a little over 20 tons. Add in passengers, and that's another 80 or 90 tons. So combined, the fuel and passengers can weigh more than the plane itself. And those who have flown know that before takeoff, the plane may be on the taxiway for quite a while before reaching the runway. Compared to the moment of landing, which seems so critical, it's actually just a minor abrasion. Secondly, some companies have installed power systems on airplane wheels, but why haven't we seen any planes using them? Since you've equipped the airplane wheels with power, it can't just be for landing. Couldn't it assist in takeoff as well? But then the problem arises. The Boeing 737 has a takeoff speed of nearly 300 kilometers per hour and a landing speed of over 200 kilometers per hour. Moreover, airplane tires are much larger and heavier than car tires. What kind of torque and speed would your motor need to keep up? The power supply for the electrical system is another major challenge. How large of a battery would the airplane need? Or should there be a hybrid system where fuel generates electricity to power the wheels? How powerful would that generator need to be? How big and heavy would it be? In other words, you're essentially turning a jet into a car setup. And the hardware standards in every aspect would have to be much higher than those for cars. If you add up the costs of this hybrid power system and the power supply system, it's equivalent to the cost of several cars. As for changing tires, it's actually quite cheap. It's not like the online claim of $200,000 per tire. It might only cost several thousand. And they can operate for 100 or 200 takeoffs and landings, with each tire being refurbished 5 or 6 times. Overall, it turns out to be quite cheap. Then, if you install that hybrid power system on the plane, the weight increases, the tire load becomes greater, and the maintenance costs rise significantly. The production costs would skyrocket just for that little bit of tire wear. Who would want to do that?